Okay, today we're going to be creating a graphic out of other graphics. And one of the reasons that we want to do this is because sometimes you find a reference material online that's not the highest quality. So to start, I want you to open up the file that says Texas Pin Starter, which is this blank document. The Texas flag bitmap. You can see that the quality of this flag is pretty bad. And then the Texas outline. So we're going to use these to create a brand new image. So let's start with the Texas flag. So really we're just going to use this for dimensions and color. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and select all. And we're going to copy the image. Then I'm going to go over here to the pin, and we're going to go ahead and create a brand new layer and then paste. And then so you can see that it's bigger than our actual image, so we want to go ahead and we want to go to Edit, Transform, Scale. You should be getting used to that by now, right? Edit, Transform, Scale. And then I'm going to go ahead and scale this down. We want to make sure it's proportional, so come up here and let's make sure that our width and our height are the same. So my width is 60, so I'm going to make my height also 60. And then I'm going to hit my check mark or hit enter on the keyboard. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get rid of this top part right here. So I'm going to use my magic wand tool. And I'm going to make sure it's on contiguous, right? Because contiguous means everything touching. And I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to move it up. And then do the same thing. Magic wand on the bottom here. Contiguous. And get rid of that. Okay. And then deselect. And how do I get rid of it? Just hit delete on the keyboard. Okay. So now the problem with this is that it's super low quality. So I'm just going to use this to create a new, better version of the flag. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow the blue off of there. So I just clicked on my paint chip right here, and then I just clicked anywhere on the flag and borrowed the blue color from the low quality flag. Now I'm just going to create, with the rectangle tool, create a new layer, and I'm going to create a rectangle that's the same size as that on the Texas flag, right? And now I have a nice high quality vector version of that. So I'm going to keep doing the same thing. I'm just going to get the color red, right? And then create a new layer. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, right? I'm going to create a new red stripe, right? I want to make sure this red stripe, I'm just going to nudge it, right? So that way it's lined up perfectly with the blue. I could also just take the blue and put it on top, right? So if my red stripe's like this, I could just take their blue rectangle and put it on the first layer, and it's going to cover the white and the red rectangles, right? So now I could just copy the red rectangle, right? Just come down here, and now I have a rectangle to copy, and then I can just double click on it and cancel. Oh, it's on top of the other one. So first thing I want to do is move it up here to the top, right? And then double click on it and then make it white. So now I can turn this reference flag off, right? And double check all my layers to make sure that I'm not leaving anything outside. Make sure they're all nice and matched up. And now I just need the star over here. So I'm going to get the white, right? You see how I just clicked on that and then I just pushed this up into the left hand corner where it's completely white, right? And where do I get my 5-pointed star? Custom shape tool. So I click on my rectangle tool, go to custom shape tool, come up here, and if I can't find this a 5-pointed star, right? Pretty sure there is one in here somewhere. Diamonds. There's this star, but that's not really what I'm looking for. Oh, there it is. There's our 5-pointed star. Not sure if that's starry enough. Let's see what happens. I'm going to do that. Need to put it on top, right? So it shows. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the blue and turn on my reference layer. Okay, so it's not the right shape. So I'm going to get rid of that star. Right, I'm just going to delete that layer. Okay. So another way that I can make a star is I can go to the polygon tool. Okay, and I can come up here. I want it to be 5-sided, but I also want it to have a star inset. So 5 sides with a star inset, right? And now, amazing, I have the star. Of course, the fill was blue, so let's come over here and make it white. Right, and now I can move that right there, and let's make sure that it matches. Let's turn the star on. That's pretty close, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, so it's about the right size and the right shape. Okay, now I can turn off my reference layer completely, and I have all of the star that I want. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to rename the layers over here, and then we're going to put them in a folder. So, because we want to join all this together. So we're going to call this the star, right? And then I'm just going to call this blue, white, and red. So then above, I'm going to click on the star layer, and I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm just going to call this flag, right? And then we're going to put the star, the blue, I'm holding down the shift key, right? So I click on the first one and then each one of the ones below it. And then I'm just going to grab them all and move them into the flag layer, and then I can do that. So now the flag acts as one layer, and I can also click on all of these, right? And I can link them together. So that's what this little chain looking thing is. It's a link. Now all of these layers are linked together. So if I move it, it now moves as one item. And I can just click on it now as the flag. Okay, so I built a flag. Why do we do this? Why do I not just use that terrible image that I found on the internet? One is I can scale this as big as I want because these are all vectors, right? So I can make it as big or small as I want, and it will keep that quality because I built it from scratch using vector images. Okay, so that's one reason to do it. Okay, so what else are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to come over here and we're going to take this image right here, we're going to take this and we're going to add it to it. But I just want the outline. I don't want the whole thing. So I'm going to get my magic wand and I'm going to click on the blue, which is going to let me select just the outline. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to cut it. And I can see that I got what I wanted. Then I'm going to come back over here to my Texas pen, create a new layer. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to paste that on there. So we're going to go over here and paste. Okay, and now we need to edit, transform, scale again, right? Because we need it to fit in our window. Right? So I want my Texas to fit inside of the window like this. Okay, all right, and then enter or hit the check mark. Okay, and I'm going to call this Texas. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this flag right here and we're going to resize it. So we're going to edit, transform, scale. I'm going to rescale this whole thing, right? Because what I want is I want the flag to fit inside of the state, right? I want to fill it up. So what we're going to have to do is actually kind of distort the size of the state flag, because Texas is really tall, right? And not as wide as it looks, right? So that's what I'm going to do, like this, like that. Maybe even do a little bit of that. Okay. What I'm trying to do is fit the whole thing inside of the outline of the state. Okay, and then hit enter. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just get rid of all this excess that we don't need. So the first thing I'm going to do is just come up here and go to edit. I think it's edit. Maybe it's layer. Layer. I'm going to go to the layer menu and we're going to flatten the image. It's going to ask you, do you want to discard everything? Because we're going to get rid of all kinds of stuff. And now we only have one layer. Okay, so now I still want it to be transparent around the outside. So what I'm going to have to do is come down here and take my whole thing and make a new layer. So I'm just duplicating it, right? And then I'm going to come down here to the background. I'm going to turn this off for a second. Come down to the background. We're going to select all, and then we're going to delete. Right? So, okay, it's not going to let me delete. So we're just going to turn that off. We're going to turn the background off so it's transparent. Then I'm going to go back here to my new Texas. I'm just going to call this new Texas, right? We got my magic wand. And then I'm going to select with contiguous on, because if I don't, here's what happens, right? It's going to select all the white. I don't want that. I just want the outside white, right? I'm going to delete it. And then the outside blue, and then this little part of the star, and then this, and this, that, and that. Okay, so once I've deleted everything, I'm going to deselect. Okay. And now I'm going to get my text tool, create a new layer. I'm going to grab the red. So, text tool, come up here to the text and grab this same red, right? And then I'm going to type Texas. And you can put this in like whatever font you want, but make sure it's a nice bold font, right? I want one that has uppercase and lowercase. I'm trying to find something that I like. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Brush script, right? Okay. So notice if I do that, it kind of disappears, right? So what I'm going to do then is come up here to select to layer style. I'm going to put a little stroke on it. Just a little white stroke. I'm going to do like that. Boom. Alright. Now I'm done. Okay, so now I can go to File, Save As. We're going to call it Texas Pin Finished. And let's make it a PNG. And save.